The Golden State Warriors have agreed to sign Stephen Curry to a 1-year, $62.6 million extension. And this was not something that was surprising, I would say. I think this was expected, that we all knew that they were going to retain Stephen Curry at all costs. Some people might wonder, why was this only 1 year, since the extension starts in the summer of 2026 and ends in summer of 2027. The reason for this is because Stephen Curry was not eligible underneath the CBA to get an extension that's longer than 1 year due to the age rule, which is once a player hits 38 on his contract, you can't give him an extension for more than a year, which obviously is the case with Curry. He'll be 38 in a few years. He's getting up there in age. This contract, what will I say about this? Well, I wouldn't say this was really an overpay when you compare to what the star players are going to get in a few years. I think in a few years we're going to see guys getting $80 to $90 million. I think possibly even $100 million, depending on the TV money. And I'm saying $100 million per year. You look at Stephen Curry's numbers from last year, they were pretty good. 26.4 points per game, 45% overall from the field, which is the mark you want to hit for a perimeter player. I always have the rule, if you're below 45, then you're very inefficient and you're hurting your team. So he hits that mark barely. And he shot 40% from three. Obviously, great percentage from three, like always, not surprising. One thing I'll say, though, is that it seems like Steph is definitely going to get less efficient as time goes on. Even though he's a great shot, I would say his efficiency will go down because he is a small guy physically. I would say in NBA stature, he is definitely a small guy. And that definitely shows once you get older, because you can't use your size or your big frame to get easy buckets because he doesn't have it. Look at LeBron. I feel a huge part of the reason why LeBron can still be efficient at old age is that he's so damn big, which allows him to get easy buckets in the paint. Stephen Curry's strength has always been, outside of being a great three-point shooter, was that he had a good amount of quickness. Wasn't the quickest guy, but he had a good amount that allowed him to get to the hole, plus his ball handling, which would allow him to open up for easy layups, which would help with his efficiency. Now I feel those opportunities are going to become less and less as he gets older, because he's going to get slower and slower, and he doesn't have the physical strength to just easily get buckets in the paint. So when his shot is not falling, you're definitely going to see it in these games where it's going to hurt the Warriors. But when you look at it from the great scheme of things, the Warriors really didn't have a choice to give him this money. He's their franchise player. He's arguably the greatest Warrior of all time. I know some can dispute that by saying Wilt Chamberlain, but I think Curry has longevity over Wilt when it comes to this. So when you have the greatest franchise player in the history of your franchise, obviously you're going to treat him great if you can. Granted, there's always exceptions to the rules. You look at the Bulls with Michael Jordan, the way they ran him out, and I'm sure there's a few others when you think about it, but that one sticks out to me the most when it comes to rebuilding. But I think the Warriors are just willing to keep him there until he wants to retire. And to be fair to them, as much as I hate the Warriors, it's definitely a good business move, because this is a team that's garbage on paper when you look at their roster. This is a mediocre team that's going to miss the playoffs again this upcoming season. I definitely believe they will. And they'll struggle in upcoming years. Maybe they'll get lucky and get in as a 7th or 8th seed one of these years, in the upcoming 3-4 years while Steph is there. But I think it's going to be a great long-term struggle. I bring this up only because Steph Curry is great at selling tickets. Even with the Warriors being trash, you're always going to have a bunch of people that are going to pay money to see him, especially at their arena, the Chase Center, or whatever you call it. Just there are people who will pay tons of money to see him play just for the experience. He is an iconic figure in basketball, I would say. Even obviously in Golden State especially, but even on the road, you have a lot of people who'll pay to see him. So he's still a marquee name, and I think that's what the Warriors really value, that he's a marquee name out there, that they can sell their products, their merchandise, and as long as he's there, he always helps when it comes to the valuation of the team. So to me, it's really a business move more so than a move to build a winner. Granted, even if they got rid of Curry, I don't know how soon they could rebuild a successful team. I don't think they are great at scouting or building teams. I think even during their championship runs, they got lucky. They got lucky with Curry. And the guy before Bob Myers is the one who drafted Klay Thompson, I believe. So it's not like they really had to do much. And with Dunleavy, he's very unproven. So that's the way I look at it. Nothing much else. That this was really expected. Steph is going to toil in mediocrity the next few years. I know some people had hoped that somehow he would force his way out to go to the Lakers to team up with LeBron or somewhere else, but I honestly don't see Steph forcing his way out of Golden State now. I think he's very comfortable there, even if they never win anything again. And even if they're a lottery team, I think he's still good there because he's situated there. He's very established there now. His family has roots down there now. He has kids who go to school there. I think that's too much of a hassle just to relocate now at this point in time in his life. So I think he's just going to hold it down. He's going to be like Kobe Bryant during the last few years. He's not going to win anything, but he'll be a great show for all of his casual fans and hardcore fans in the Bay Area and outside the Bay Area throughout the league. That's all I have to say about this.